Hey everybody, this is Mike and EJ. So we are talking today on behalf of our Combos for Kids program, and really what we're here to do is kind of give you some insight into what Combos for Kids really is and what we're all about. So I think the brass tacks is first is kind of the what we really want to get into. So what Combos for Kids is a way for us to create great fishing experiences for families, for parents and their kids. But really our part in that is setting up these camps where these kids can go to and we can create these great experiences. So we're creating these camps that really are well beyond fishing. I mean, we have games, we have prizes, we're incorporating a lot of different things. Of course, as the name says, the combo part being kind of one of the big staples of it. Every kid's going to get a free combo. We would love to think that these are experiences that can be repeated and learn and stuff. So we're trying to send these kids home with rods, tackle, prizes, gear. Again, things that are really going to stick in their memories, and hopefully create some more memories as it were. So, what in your mind, what do you think of when you think of Combos for Kids?
Yeah, it's very similar. Also the experience, the connections that you make with fishing. I mean, all of us love fishing. It's a part of our lives, a very important part of our lives. But there's relationships and there's lifelong memories, and there's a lot of good that comes out of fishing, not just catching fish.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we really want to dive into today is kind of like our experiences on that level.
Yeah.
So I think both of us come from, fishing outdoor families. Yeah. So I have tons of these experiences. So coming from your end of it, what is your favorite experience fishing with a family member?
So I'm going to go way back to taking my dad out. My dad is no longer with me, but had lots of good experiences fishing with him. Now, you got to remember, my father was an old Navy guy, and I had never taken my father out on my boat when it was rough out. So I knew it was going to be rough that day. Took him out. We were underneath the Bay Bridge, and my mother had packed us a huge lunch. So we were eating it on the way down to Sandy Point, and so we were pretty full by the time we got out there. And then when we got out there, it was rough, but we were catching fish. And I turned around and looked at my dad, and I noticed he was like changing different shades of green. He was getting a little seasick. This is an old Navy guy who was getting seasick. So I was like, Dad, are you okay? Oh, I'm just fine. I'm fine. I knew we had to head in. So we headed in, and I could literally see the color come back to his face once he got on that pier at Sandy Point. So that gave me so much fodder for the dinner table at Thanksgiving. I got to get my dad. And so that was one of my best memories, and we all gave it to my dad, harassed him a little bit.
I'm sure he really appreciated that too.
The old Navy guy getting sick. Yes.
The bay and the ocean, very different places.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, so I thought through this a lot too, because so many great experiences, this and that, and I kept thinking back to when I was a kid, and my dad used to take me actually up the street to here, which is now owned by I can't remember who, but anyway, we used to fish off of Hackett's Point, and he would drive me up there, and we would bring a couple 5-gallon buckets with us. We would perch fish off the shoreline, but literally, I don't even remember catching fish. Like, I just remember there hanging out with him, and it was one of those times. Those few times we would fish together, it was like that was kind of our me and him time, and I can just remember how fun it was. The nature, the sunsets, the this, the that, and I just always remember that. It'll always stick with me. That sort of thing.
Yep.
So, wrapping around to my next question, I think all of us have these moments where we're like, we take parts of fishing and lessons learned, and it's part of our lives. So, what is your favorite lesson learned or experience, that's kind of shaped your life within fishing?
Yeah, without a doubt, it's patience. Having my kids literally grow up on the boat. Lots of things happen when you have a 6-year-old, 5 and 6-year-old out on the boat. Just having that patience and kind of showing them, and then what's really cool is seeing them start to develop those skills and start to really have an understanding of fishing, what to do, and that sort of thing. So it's no longer, Daddy, I'm tangled, or can you unbait this, or can you get this fish off? They start to learn their own sort of ways.
So mine is from my grandfather, actually, and I feel like this is a really loaded one. Like, I feel like there's 100 lessons from this, but as fishing is always that way. And so my grandfather, which is funny too, because my grandfather extremely competitive on the boat. So he always wants to catch all the fish, all the biggest fish, and this and that. At the same time, my grandfather would preach nonstop about knowing what people had in the water and never being too proud to change. So he was a big sea bass fisherman, and minnows always caught the most. But he was like, you get so set in your ways of thinking that minnows are the best thing, you don't realize the guy right next to you is yanking in all the fish. So be aware of what's happening, but never be too proud to change.
Right.
You never know, and especially with fishing, I think that's like one of the best parts of fishing is the unknown. That's why it captures our imagination. We don't know what's down there. We don't know what they're feeding on today, this and that. So again, I could go real wide picture with this and spend all day talking about it, but that was definitely one of my big things there.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So, there's these very serious parts of fishing, but then there's the other realities of fishing where we have debacles all the time. Stuff happens, even to the best fishermen, maybe only to the best fishermen. Like bad things happen. So EJ, what was your favorite fishing debacle that you've had?
So there's been very many of them throughout the years, without a doubt. We were talking about this before we started filming. I think I'm going to use this one. So I grew up with my wife. We were kids together. I've been fishing with my father-in-law for many years. And on the very day of our wedding shower, my brother-in-law, my father-in-law, and I all went fishing. And we got married in October, so it was a little bit chilly outside. Mm-hmm. And we were fishing underneath the Bay Bridge again. And a long story short, I ended up in the bay. I was standing on the bow of the boat. My brother-in-law came over, and boom, I'm in the bay. So I very quickly get out of the bay, and I'm freezing cold, and these guys are laughing at me and carrying on. And then my father-in-law finally goes, "Hey, where's my rod?" Enough said. It was down at the bottom of the bay, and that was his favorite rod. And yeah, I had to hear about that too.
That's actually a really good one. So again, we were talking through this earlier. So I decided to go with one of my more embarrassing ones, as it would be. So years and years ago, when I first started going on a few of these fancy fishing trips, Shimano took me on a fishing trip up north in the Susquehanna, and we were doing some bass fishing. So this was kind of cool for me. I'd done a lot of fishing, but really not a lot of this pro bass thing. So I'm excited to fish with some of these pros and this and that, and kind of bring my flavor to it too. So we go there the night before. It's this 2-day fishing trip thing. We get about a half hour into the fishing trip, and I decide I need to change the trailer on my hard bait. So I go in there, and sure enough, within 30 minutes, I've put a hook right through my hand. It can't come out. I spent the entire day fishing with a hook in my hand. I didn't tell anybody until after we were done fishing because I didn't want to ruin the trip. But I was like, "Yep, there's my first impression right there, done and done." Yeah. So that was a pretty good one for me. So anyway, going back to the beginning of this, what is combos for kids? But really, the bigger picture of this is, and from these stories, is why is combos for kids important? Yeah. So I'll leave that right there.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's important because it really does build relationships. It's more than just about the fishing. It's about creating memories, relationships, things that you can talk about around the dinner table, and then having a passion for the outdoors. Nature, like you had mentioned, you remember those sunsets in the morning, or sunrises in the morning, sunsets in the evening. Just I think connections is really what it's about, and giving kids especially the opportunity to go out there and experience the thing that really we're passionate about and that has influenced our lives so deeply. I mean, we gave some anecdotal stuff here, some quick things, but I can tell you it's a struggle for me to think of all the great memories that I've had over the years. And I think what we're trying to do here, Mike, is to pass that along to kids who would really benefit from something like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. What
are your thoughts?
No, I feel like exact words you say, and even, I think you kind of mentioned in there, but, for the kids and for the parents, it's like, Absolutely. I think we'd all like to think that those same memories I just spoke about were some of my dad's favorite memories and this and that. So I think it's kind of like, you get to get out of the setting of your day-to-day, roundabout life, and it's like, oh, we both shared this great experience, and we both had it together, and all those things. So I think that's kind of the beauty of it, where it is, yes, it's for kids, and it's given them these experiences that they probably haven't had before, and that sort of thing. But really, it is that total picture of, wow, this is this is a family that has these great memories now. So
Totally
yeah, absolutely agree
Totally
with
agree.
you. Yep.
Cool.
Well, anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Combos for Kids.
Yes.
Yes.
Very excited, guys.
Very excited. So definitely make sure, too, you guys apply at the bottom of the page. Fill out the applications, nominate somebody. If you think someone could use one of these experiences, we think that's a great way to really harness this is to say, man, there's a guy or woman who's working so hard, they wouldn't even have time to fill out this application. And maybe their kid, you know they wouldn't have time to do this.
Yes.
So maybe this fits into something where it's like, hey, this would be really cool for them. So
Absolutely.
definitely spread the word. We really appreciate it. And thank you guys for your interest.
Take care.